The old shop smelled like dust and secrets. It was crammed with forgotten things. Furniture with chipped paint loomed in every corner. Cracked mirrors reflected distorted images.
Lucy loved it.
She wandered down narrow aisles, her fingers trailing over faded velvet and tarnished silver. Then she saw her. The doll sat on a shelf, surrounded by chipped teacups. Her porcelain face was beautiful, with rosy cheeks and bright red lips. But it was her eyes that drew Lucy in. They were painted a startling blue, and they seemed to follow her every move.
What a pretty doll.
That's Annabelle. She's been waiting for you.
The shopkeeper's strange look felt like a warning.
She's a special doll, but be careful with her.
Why?
Lucy asked, already clutching the doll tightly. Annabelle felt surprisingly heavy in her arms.
Some things are best left undisturbed.
Lucy didn't understand, but was too excited to care. She paid for the doll and hurried out of the shop. The afternoon sun seemed dimmer now, the air colder. Lucy turned back to look at the shop. Mrs. Thompson was watching her from the doorway, her eyes filled with a strange sadness. Lucy hurried home, clutching Annabelle. She couldn't wait to show her new treasure to her friends. They would be so jealous. But as she walked, the feeling of unease returned. It was like something unseen was watching her, its cold breath on her neck. The excitement was overshadowed by a growing sense of dread. That night, Lucy placed Annabelle on her bedside table. The doll seemed to gleam in the darkness. Lucy could have sworn her eyes glinted, even in the dim light. She snuggled under the covers, but sleep wouldn't come. A cold draught seemed to swirl around the room, making the curtains sway.
Then Lucy heard it. A whisper, soft and low, just at the edge of hearing.
She sat up in bed, her heart pounding. Objects moved around Lucy's room as if by an unseen hand, but deep down a cold fear began to grow.
One night, Lucy woke with a gasp. Something was wrong. The room was freezing cold, and a heavy feeling pressed down on her chest. She opened her eyes and screamed.
Annabelle was sitting on her chest, her blue eyes glowing in the darkness. The doll's lips seemed to be curled into a sinister smile.
Lucy scrambled back against her headboard, her heart pounding in her chest. Lucy grabbed the doll and threw it across the room. The glowing faded, and the doll looked ordinary again. But Lucy knew, with a certainty that chilled her to the bone, that something was terribly wrong.
The next morning, Lucy ran back to the antique shop. She burst through the door, her face pale, her breath coming in ragged gasps. "You have to take her back! She's evil!" She moves and whispers, and her eyes glow.
Mrs. Thompson looked at Lucy sadly. "I warned you, child," she said, her voice a low murmur. "Annabelle is not like other dolls. She's bound to this world by a curse."
"A curse?" Lucy's voice trembled. "What can I do?"
Mrs. Thompson sighed. "The curse must be broken," she said, handing Lucy a dusty old book. "This will tell you how."
Lucy took the book with shaking hands. She flipped through the brittle pages. One page had a ritual for breaking a curse, a ritual that involved burying the cursed object under an oak tree at midnight. It was Lucy's only hope. That night, Lucy slipped out of her house. She clutched the book and Annabelle in her hands. The night air was heavy and still, the only sound the beating of her own heart. She found the oldest oak tree in the park, its branches gnarled and twisted like skeletal fingers. Following the instructions in the book, Lucy dug a small hole beneath the tree. She placed Annabelle inside, her heart pounding with a mixture of fear and hope. As she covered the doll with earth, a cold wind swept through the park, whipping her hair around her face, and then she saw her.
A woman, her form shimmering and translucent, hovered beneath the oak tree. "Thank you," the ghost whispered, her voice like the rustling of leaves. "You have freed me."
The ghost faded and the wind died down. The curse was broken. Lucy returned home, her heart still pounding from her encounter with the ghost. She had faced her fears and broken the curse of Annabelle. She had learned that some things are best left undisturbed, that even the most innocent-looking objects can hold dark secrets. From that day forward, Lucy vowed to warn others about the dangers of the unknown. She knew that the world was full of strange and wonderful things, but also things that were best left untouched. She had faced the darkness, and she had emerged stronger, wiser, and forever changed. And she carried the memory of Annabelle, the cursed doll, as a reminder that some secrets are best left buried.